Tervetuloa tsekkailemaan taas vähän suomalaisia pelejä. Tällä kertaa meillä on tsekkailtavana The Bottom of the Well, jonka on tehnyt sellainen suomalainen pelistudio kuin Red Nettle Studio. Ja se mitä mä oon nyt vähän ymmärtänyt tästä pelistä, niin tää on interaktiivinen tarina, jossa on roolipelielementtejä. Se on mielenkiintoinen ajatus, mutta ei muuta kuin kokeillaan. This game is a visual novel, meaning it is a mainly text-based piece of interactive fiction. A book where you get to decide what happens next. Most of the gameplay consists of picking your choice from selection of options, which will further the story. Bottom of the Well does have some gameplay aside from multiple choice, though. The most important of which is the kind of Alice you are going to play. For your first playthrough, we recommend you use default Alice, but the customization is there to be used. Even if you complete the game, a different Alice might have a very different experience. If nothing else, you might just find a new way to die. Thank you for playing our game, Red Nettle Studio. Jaahas! No, mitä meillä on? Default Alice, randomly generated, custom, dark Alice. Wow. Mitä meillä täällä mitä Alice sitten osaa? Survivalia, suppliesia, career, fitness, social life ja dating. Mielenkiintoista. Mennään ihan default Alicella nyt. The default Alice is capable of finishing the game to its true ending, but not necessarily through all branches. This Alice is career-motivated, friendly, somewhat lazy, a hopeless romantic with no survival skills at all. Aha. She makes up for it by being a good organizer. Onks toi career sitten? Ei, kun se on... kai se on sit jotain suppliesia. Eli mitään ei osaa niinku tuolta puolelta, mut... Elikkä niinku perus Alice Wonderlandissa. No, ei siinä. Katsotaan. Tietokoneruutu, mitä ihmettä? Nyt jotain se kirjoitti. Morning ei. Morning? Tovisi Mad Hatter. Did you catch the anniversary reading last night? No, well I tried, but I fell asleep. Listen about that. You fell asleep? Oh, come on! Alice in Wonderland is like our favorite. Let me finish. Something happened. I was tuning in on my radio. You're such a ludit. Amazing I can even catch you online. Aika mielenkiintoinen ajatus nää chattää. Shut up, I'm not a ludit. Mikä ihme on ludit, en tiedä. I just like analog things. Anyway, I was tuning into the broadcast and I must have hit the AM switch or something because suddenly the channel changed to something else. What? Aliens? Oh! Government-run business number stations. Business. No, it was this weird, like, white noise at first. It's hard to explain why I was drawn to it. I could hear snippets of some melody, maybe lyrics, but the signal was weak. So you turned it off and continued looking for Alice broadcast. So I went out on my balcony and turned the antenna around until the signal came through clear. It now sounded more like music with the odd signal in the background. When logic and proportion have fallen sloppy dead and the white knight is talking backwards and the red queen's off with their head. What? Oh, so somebody's pirate radio broadcast or golden oldies. It felt like there was something else there. Some message that the music was hiding. I know it sounds weird, and then I fell asleep. What a story. No, hear me out. I dreamed and I didn't know I was dreaming. Do you understand? It was entirely lucid, but like waking up in another world, except I didn't think of it as another world. Ugh, does this make any sense? You had a super lifelike dream where you don't know you were dreaming, but you were still lucidly in control. Sounds pretty rad to me. I'm sure it would have been, except for the whole end of the world apocalypse bit in the dream. Okay, now you're got my attention. Loppuhan se vihdoinkin. Mitä tässä tapahtuu? So, like I said, it was the end of the world. Everything I did that day felt like the real thing. Every smell, every sound, every color, every touch. It's important you know that. I wasn't acting like I would in a dream. I didn't know it was a dream. Heavy. There was no warnings, no build-up, nothing. Just between one moment and the next, the TV had turned to the emergency alert system, and this voice that sounded like it had been recorded in the 60s told us we were under attack. Were you alone? Yeah. I had had a really long day at the office, so I had sworn off all social contact for the evening. I had the TV on the background just as noise. Wait, what? The office? You mean you've got some kind of a real adult person job in this dream of yours? Yeah, actually, at the college, students' admissioning office. Hey, don't sound so surprised. I am going to graduate in just a few months, you know. Uh-huh. With a BA in English Lit. Shut up. Such skill with words. Anyway, what happened next? Like I said, the TV suddenly turned to the emergency alert system. Jacked the volume all the way up too. I didn't even know they could do that. The broadcast told us we were under attack right now and that we needed to get to the shelter. That we had less than 30 minutes before the bombs hit. Jesus, sounds scary. At first I didn't want to believe it. I switched the channel, but they were all the same. And then the sirens started. Tornado sirens, flood sirens, I don't know. And I knew things were serious. So what should you do? I went online. Didn't you try calling someone, like your parents? Of course I tried, but it was futile. The phone network was completely overworked. But the net still worked fine. So what you find? The net was still working, but the bandwidth was severely lacking. The major news networks were either down or overloaded. But all the big search engines defaulted to some kind of government site in super simple HTML. That kind of confirmed it really was the real deal. Isn't the net supposed to be some kind of DARPA invention anyway? Wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of system in place to take it over if need be. Well, they hadn't taken it over. You could still go wherever you wanted. Facebook still worked. Oh, hyvä! Apocalypse-proof servers, nice! It was insane. I tried to get in touch with my brother. He's the only one who's ever even got an account. But there was no reply. I spammed my aunts and sent an email to my mother, but I don't know. It felt like I needed to find somewhere right there and then. And a group chat. It was spreading through our social network like wildfire. Someone had found the closest old fallout shelter that was actually still operable. down on 3rd. People were going there, just grabbing all they could and running before the bombs fall. So what happened next? You know, I did find you online. That must have been useless. I'm all the way over in Old Blighty, unless things were different in your dream. No, you were still in the UK. The bombs had already started falling there. You disappeared. There was nothing more to do. It was only a dream, Al. Sure. So then what? To follow shelter seemed like the best option. Yep. Told follow shelter was down in 3rd. It wasn't far close enough to walk anyway. Did you think to bring anything? Oh, right, yes, I grabbed the biggest bag I had. A backpack. People always called it magic. You could fit so much into it. Bigger on the inside and all that. Aha, alright. Mitäs mä sit oikein otan mukaan ja kuinka paljon mulla on tavara? Onks... Sen verran oli messissä nyt sitten. Mad Hatter. Well, go on. What was it like? Did you run into trouble? You could say that. God, the shelter. So... I headed towards the shelter from my apartment. I'll admit it was still kind of hoping it was all just some kind of big false alarm. And by tomorrow everything would be back to normal. Like an extreme version of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast. Actually, the panic that radio show caused was greatly exaggerated, probably by Welles himself. And it worked. We still remember it today. Great ad campaign. Guess that English Lit degree is coming to some use at least. Yeah, well, I didn't really feel like it. I remember trying to think of words to describe the way the streets felt, the way the city sounded. Turmoil, chaos, anarchy, tumult, pandemonium, the capital of hell. Now who's got the degree in lit? Stop stalling. Yeah, it's just so fucking damn. Like I said, everything felt so real. The panic in the streets, the accidents everywhere with no emergency responders showing up, and the ever-present siren. It was like everyone walked with their eyes to the sky, just expecting to see a flash. Did you make it to the shelter okay? The shelter was actually in the basement of a bar. They used it as a storage, which was handy since there was a door towards the street. But there were no signs of anything like that anymore. I just knew about it from the Facebook conversation. Okay, wait. Isn't that bar you always go to? The Rad Bar? Turussa on kans Rad Bar. Heh, yeah. Go, Annalise. Did you get in? I went to what I thought was the side door. It wasn't the kind of alleyway I'd usually hang out in. I could just imagine junkies and hobos sleeping among those trash bags. Anyway, the suspense is killing me. So I knocked on the door and then immediately tried the handle. It was locked. Nothing happened for a while. And then the door opened, just a bit, and she stuck her head out. She? The beach queen. She was this redhead chick who had taken charge of everything in there. She was the only one. She was the one who originally posted about the place, so I guess she felt she owed it somehow. She stood there in the doorway looking me over and then basically said, "We're full." Like it was an exclusive club. I can't believe they just keep you out of for no good reason. Was it actually full? Ha, not a chance. There was a sign on the door that says capacity 100. There was just no way there was 100 people in there already. I said as much, she didn't reply. I guess you didn't just let it be at that. I tried talking my way in. You can't just leave me out here, and so forth. She just repeated that they were full. That there wasn't enough food for anymore. There wasn't enough food for any more. That I should try to find some other place to hide. Stone cold bitch indeed. I tried telling her I wouldn't be a burden. I had brought food. I opened my bag and showed her. You're nicer than I would be. What did she say? She wasn't being nice. I was being desperate. I was trying to figure out the rules of this sudden new reality. She hesitated. Then she said, "Alright, but you will have to share." A bribe, huh? How tempting. What was your answer? I decided to take the queen up on her offer. Yeps. So she let me slip in, closing the door behind me with a bang. 9:39 Sunday, September 18th. Cloudy. I barely had time to get my bearings before she started taking command again. Telling me to hurry up and to empty me bags. Empty your bags? She had some kind of notion she should be in charge of the supplies. And what did you say to that? I talked to her about it. Seems reasonable. I wasn't there to fight. I just wanted to get through it. So what? Did she rob you of everything you owned or what? I was ready to start arguing with her about that, politely of course, but it turned out she just wanted to make inventory. She very carefully wrote down everything we had with us, from clothes to food to blankets. Huh. I'm not saying she wasn't prissy about it, but I understood. Everyone was stressed out. What about the others in there? Were they happy to be bossed around by her? I think most of them were too shell-shocked to think about that. Someone was in charge. That was enough for most. Did you make any new friends? Mainly old friends. I hadn't been the first here. We mingled. Did she leave you alone afterwards? The place had maybe 20 people in it, us included, but she stayed away from most of the rest of us. So yes, she did. Were you the last to arrive? No. Soon after us there were some others. These she let in without trouble, embracing one of them, this big burly guy with a motorcycle jacket. Nani! Someone you knew? Actually yes, Ray was his name. He lived pretty close. I mainly knew him for his love for motorcycles. I had no idea he knew the Beach Queen. But the place was still empty? Yeah. Soon after, though, there was another knock, and this time the Beach Queen tried to do the same thing she did with me. What did you do? I kept quiet. I know it's just a dream, but jeez! What was she doing? What she was doing was just not right. I know, but I was afraid. I didn't want to be thrown out. I understand. Still, it boils my blood. Well, anyway, she and her friends closed the door and made sure it was kept closed. I really hope whoever was left outside actually left to find other shelter, because when the bombs started to drop, yes, the bombs, they were all underground. We were all underground, down down a set of stairs leading to the actual bunker. It was filled with barrels and barrels of beer and other drinks, but at least there was light for a while. So it actually happened, the nuclear war. Yes. We had a radio with us, and we all sat clustered around it. At first there were sporadic reports that the US missile defense system was working, and that it was shooting down the incoming warheads. But then the signal turned off, and a few moments later we felt the rumble. Holy shit! But you were okay? The shelter did what it was designed to do, yes. Although at one point there was a terrible sound just above, and the shelter was briefly filled with dust. I was pretty sure we were all dead. People were screaming, babies were crying. The lights flickered and died. It was the end. Holy shit, your subconscious wasn't joking around. We subsisted on candles and flashlights and waited for the radio to come back. It did, after a while. What did he say? Just about expected fallout patterns. It sounded very recorded, but I guess there had to be someone alive up there still clicking the buttons. But even that ended after a little while. Wow, okay, so how long did you stay down there? Well, the radio said there was a cloud of radioactive ash coming our way within 24 hours, and told everyone to stay inside until further notice. Then it died. So I guess you stayed at least 24 hours then. Of course. The problem came when we tried to leave. What? Well, the shelter was underground, underneath a big trapdoor. And the house above, it had apparently collapsed on the trapdoor. We tried to open it, pushed and pushed, but it wouldn't budge. Damn, that's like a real nightmare, buried alive. Well, we had food down there for a while, and if we started drinking beer with our meals, we could probably stretch it out for weeks. Of course, then we'd be kind of drunk all the time too. But what then? Maybe there'd be rescue? Maybe. But what if there wasn't? What did the others think? Ray and his queen wanted to sit tight and wait for help. A few of the others wanted to find an alternative way out, maybe through one of the ventilation shafts. A third option would be to keep working on the trapdoor. It opened out, but if we removed the hinges and got it to collapse inward, and then dug up through the debris. The radioactive debris. The radioactive debris. Anyway, people were getting very antsy, so it was time to make some kind of decision. What did you do? Alternative exit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Don't you get your air from the ventilation shaft? Well, yes. So it was kind of risky to be messing with it, and we all knew that. But the trapdoor didn't feel like a good idea, and neither was just staying put, so it was a shot. So what did you find out? Well, I stood on the shoulders of some of the others and managed to dislodge the grate on one of the shafts in the roof. I shone a flashlight in and saw it was just barely big enough for one thin-shouldered person. Sounds like someone I know. Well, with a bit of help, they pushed me up into the shaft. It was tight, very tight, but I could just barely wiggle my way upwards. This was roughly the point I remembered I have a serious fear of enclosed places. Well, I understand. What if you got stuck? No one would be able to help you, especially if it was somewhere further up. Who knows if it even led to the surface? Or if it was unblocked up there. Risky. Yeah, I know. I definitely had some reservations. So, what did you do? Tää onkin vähän tekstipainotteisempi peli kuin mitä mä kuvittelin. Tulee kurkku kipeäksi tästä englannin puhumisesta ja pelkästä narratiivista. Mä paikkasin tän osan nyt tähän näin. Jos haluat itse kokeilla tätä, niin tän saa ilmoitteeksi Steamista. Mä laitan linkit tonne alas. Kiitos kun katsoit, toivottavasti tykkäsit eikä muuta kuin katsellaan.